What's up? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is Yaygen Mills. I hope everyone's having a good day. Y'all know the drill. Feel free to leave a like, comment below, and we'll go from there. As you know, DMZ is coming in this year, DMZ 2, the official release, but I decided to play some DMZ beta, the first DMZ from Modern Warfare 2. So this is going to be a relatively pretty long video, 36 minutes. So full commentary. So apparently I load into DMZ and I already instinctively know this particular location has about two other to three other spawn points. Two other squads or a total of six other players could be to my right and another squad could be to my left. So I already know the location and I already realized my predicament. I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is like one of the easiest starting zones, but it's also easy to pick someone off from a distance if you have a sniper and if you're aware, you know there's a couple up to six enemies to my right, about another three enemies to my left, and I figured, okay, I need to get out of here, and I need to be relatively mission focused. So, getting in the groove, you know, just taking out players and things like that. But I also realized that I'm trying to be a little stealthy, right? And for the most part, I'm really glad that I was unshadow banned, even though, if you guys know, I am technically banned. But I'm not banned, and I do not understand why I was even able to get into the match. So I was already actually disconnected and shadow banned when I was in Building 21, and I'm back. But I already tried to appeal. They said I'm banned, but I'm still able to play. So make it make sense. It's whatever. I think I was actually affected by someone who actually had a ban tool, and I tried to appeal, and it already automated, like automatically AI detection already said, oh, I didn't mess with any data, or like, you know how they say like you mess with in-game data and stuff like that. No, in this case the appeal says I went against the terms of use or terms of service. And I'm like, wait a minute, okay, so it's not manipulation game data, but what the heck happened? So I'm kind of banned but not banned, which I don't understand. Either way, I figured I'm just gonna go ahead and do the hack contract at this point, and I'm also gonna go ahead and do well, I actually kind of realized that I didn't have the rotational on my compass, but sometimes as a solo player, so I tend to, you know, play solo, and well, clearly I made a lot of newbie mistakes. I should have not went into a high threat area, all things considered, and I should have thought twice about it, which, hey, man, you win some, you lose some. But one of the things that I remember in the I guess the reveal is that they were saying, oh, there's going to be a star system, there's going to be you know, increased threats and things like that. But there are already heads up displays and, you know, alerts and announcements saying, hey, you're in a medium, low threat, high threat, so forth, right? But now we're just having tears. But I also realized this. Again, this is something that the devs did not go through. No one bothered to ask about this, and I think it's very important to say. I realized I couldn't self-res. I could not self-res. You know why? Well, I was using the wrong operator, and I wanted to be kind of fit into the theme of DMZ, but now I got a free self-res. So I figured survivability is going to help me out, so I'd hop on in and realize, oh my gosh, okay, airport is going to have another squad. That's six. That's about three players to my right. Another six squads further down is going to be to my right. So that's total of six players, and there's about another squad to my left that's going to spawn near the canals, and then of three, and then there's going to be another squad in front of me near the canals, right, of three. So I'm in like a pretty bad area, and this is like one of the hot spots. So I already know a hot spot's going to wind up being at that airport, but I figured, okay, so if I can at least get a hold of a tower control key, I can get into that tower, get myself a three-plate armor. So what I want to do is trying to get a HVT, and I'll do that because they typically drop some decent loot. Sometimes they drop armor, like a two-plate. So I figured, okay, survivability is key. So I decided, okay, I'm going to use the cast off. I'm going to put a suppressor on. I'm going to, you know, rock a secondary just to make sure I'm all set, right? So we already know that the airport location in general is already pretty high threat. I think it's medium threat for the most part until you get further in. But I digress. I figured, okay, the likelihood of a three-player in this case is not likely, but I'm already struggling, as you see. So I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. It's a wrap. Like, you know, and I figured I was readily prepared. I was doing everything I needed to do. I got the HVT, and then I'll get a phone hack, and then I'll be able to gain some money. And if I really need to, if I have to, then I'll just buy the three-plate armor. But I don't want to waste my money if I don't have to, right? So I figured, okay, mission focus, calm down, take it, you know, step by step, and I'll be just fine. Clearly, well, I was, let's just say I was, you know, there's times to be wrong. But overall, I can only imagine if they actually do push an update for Al Mazrah in the beta, you know, for DMZ currently, that would be nice, you know, to prepare people to. Oh my goodness, is that my phone? That is my phone. Potential spam. Oh my god. Anywho, so I think it would be a good idea if Infinity Ward, while they're kind of readying up and making sure everything goes gold and goes platinum, that they would push a couple of updates, you know, since technically it is still in beta, right, for the DMZ. If you just continue to maybe push some updates would be cool. And I'm surprised that I know I'm next to a stronghold, but an enemy AI shot me in the window. So either way, I was attacking trying to get a hold of the HVT, but I also realized, okay, considering this is the HVT, there's going to be a lot of heavily armored players. But even in DMZ, the new one that's coming out, oh, look at that. Is that a control? No, it's Caretaker. Okay. So either way, so I figured in this case, because of the nature of DMZ, yes, you can play solo, but I don't really have any intention on playing with squads unless I'm either rezzed or I send a request. But because I want to make sure, because it has its own progression and story and lore and things like that, I want to make sure that I'm putting my full focus in DMZ, especially in this one, because there is a story that ties into it. I'm sure it progresses. I haven't fully completed the story for DMZ. There's a lot of good stuff and good unlocks you can get from DMZ right now, and it's free to play. So why would I not want to play? Either way, it is possible to play solo. It is high risk, high reward. So I figured, okay, I'm gonna, make sure I get my perks up, because every time you complete a contract and then you exfil, right, successfully, you will get a perk up, I think up to 10, and then or all of them, I believe. And I think that is good because I have never come across a Damascus player, meaning their dog tags, because there is a mission where you have to collect and eliminate real players, and then they have to have Damascus dog tags. So there we go. That RNG, man, I kid you not. That RNG is really favoring me today, but 3 of a kind. Everything comes in good in threes, just like Modern Warfare 3, the OG Modern Warfare 3, Modern Warfare 3, Roman numeral 3. And then sure enough, we're not really there yet with DMZ. This is the second iteration, but they may be able to meet the same excitement as the OG Modern Warfare 2, as popular as it was. But we all know that the real OG Modern Warfare 2 didn't sell very well compared to the OG Modern Warfare 3. But it's generally known that most people would say that the Modern Warfare 2023, Modern Warfare 3 2023 would be one of the best iterations of Call of Duty right now. But again, here is to my demise, I don't think. I unlocked the door, not realizing, oh yeah, wait a minute, there's going to be riot shield guys coming out that door, because the moment you unlock it, see, the AI won't unlock it, but if you unlock it, they'll just pour through. And I realized, okay, I saw that squad, wasn't thinking through, wasn't prepared, put myself in a corner, and I was just, yeah, this just wasn't a good idea. But I figured, all right, okay, maybe this, and I figured, okay, I must be doing good. All right, cool. I just gotta focus. Clearly not, but apparently the riot shield guy didn't know how to shoot. He got stormtrooper aim. So I figured, okay, good. That's a good use of my purchase. My purchase came in clutch. I'm okay with that, right? So I figured, okay, all right. Let me plate up armor and let me go ahead and make sure I can get a hold of a. Oh, that's fortuitous. That is just fortuitous. Anyway, my whole focus was mostly trying to get a hold of a 3-plate armor, or even a 2-plate if I could, which if I ignored it, but I couldn't find one. So I figured, okay, let me focus on making sure I get headshots so I can get at least armor. Apparently, the RNG is like, well, what are you doing? What are you doing, Yaygen? I don't know about this, man. I don't think you need a 2-plate. You're doing just fine with one. Apparently, I'm just that good. No, I jest. But I figured, all right, cool. I need to go for cover. I need to plate up. All right, cool. I'm going to reload, which that was probably my biggest mistake. I wasn't prioritizing plating up than I was. And I got a 3-plate. Sure enough. Could have unlocked that dang door. I kid you not. The RNG is wild work. But you know what? That's my mistake. Like, come on, Captain Price. You should be able to plate up a little bit faster. And you know what's interesting? I don't think there's a perk right now in DMZ that actually allows you to plate up faster. There isn't. So I'm already out of a self-res. There's not much I can do. And I figured, okay, either I can call for help and get another player to help me out. But do I really want to risk it? Nope. So I'm not going to alert them. So I figured, okay, all right. I need to hunker down. I need to focus. BoJack Horseman. But I need to focus. So I figured, okay, cool. If I can go solo in this capacity, then I definitely can go solo in the new DMZ. So I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm not like I'm not trying to sell you on DMZ, the new one, but I will say that it is fun. It is fun. Like, do not be discouraged when you lose stuff. You can always get it back. There's always an opportunity. Not every game is going to be the same, and you're right. The devs are right. Not all the games will be the same. And that's what I love about it. We're already 10 minutes in, ladies and gents, and I realize SBMM is not favoring me. This is the third time. I'm already in a high hostile area. I already know that there's going to be a potential squad to my right near the lake area. There's going to be another squad to my left near the canals, the bridge, and there's going to be a squad right in front of me near the oil rig. So I figured, okay, I just need to make a beeline. I need to just focus on the contract, get that contract, and get the heck out. I won't even stay around this area because I know there's some players that'll just hop on a car and just roam around because they know the spawn location. I'm sure everybody knows by now if you play DMZ. Like, I'm just saying, like, mind you, I'm playing console only, but I just don't want to risk because there's other PlayStation players that are better than me. Mind you, I'm on PlayStation. Yes, I do play DMZ on PC as well. So I figured, all right, I'm already about to die. I'm already getting blasted. This is why even though it says low threat, it's still a high threat area. And I don't know what I was thinking, but you know, either way, I was like, I'm getting shot at from left and right, in front of me, behind me, to the right of me, to the left of me, you name it, peeky boo. But I figured, okay, cool. You know what? I need to focus in. This is mission focus. I can't go stealth like I was doing. I need to make sure I'm in it to win it, so to speak. So I figured, all right, cool. You know, I need to make sure I'm doing what I can. Let me get a drink and coffee. I got myself some morning coffee, some McDonald's. No creamer, all black. That's what she said. Anywho, let me stop. But no, I'm feeling good this morning, not gonna lie. So, but you know, I figured at this point, if this is any kind of showmanship of you know, DMZ, this is what I was kind of hoping. You know, I think this is a better way to go about. Give me a second. I'm gonna get another sip of coffee here. Okay. So, if this is any indication, this is what Infinity Ward should have showed. Like, even if in the capacity, right? I understand it's very they used kind of fake voiceover or something to that effect on the DMZ revealed, you know, and then the next one's coming out this year. But I felt discouraged, all things considered, because in reality, for all I know, that wasn't real gameplay. For all I know, that was like the intro cinematic. Like, let's say that's the prologue mission, and you're meant to die. It's just meant to end like that, and it's an introduction of, and then the title is gonna say DMZ. Yeah. So maybe like it's the beginning prologue. Like if you played Battlefield 1, it's just you go to different years and events that took place of different types of battles that happened throughout history, and then eventually you get into the game. Sure, that's probably what we just actually got through seeing. It was just the beginning prologue. That's probably why it was all helmet cam. That's what it is. I think at one point we saw the first person perspective, right? And I mean, that's cool, but that's what I would like to see. I'd like to see the HUD. And it's interesting too, when I went to go and watch the reveal for DMZ, it's interesting how Joe Secott said, oh, it's like you know, there's dynamic weather, but then the next match that I played, or the next deployment, it was snowing. The next match after that, it was raining and things like that, right? And it's interesting because the other guy, I think he actually focuses on multiplayer. He actually corrects him, or doesn't even correct him. He just overrides him and says, oh, it's dynamic. So you could be starting off in the mountains and you'll see this, you know, you'll start off very clear and it'll gradually get snowy, and then eventually it'll get, you know, rainy, and it won't happen instantaneously across the board. It'll just happen in certain sections. So it's like, wait a minute. So Joe Secott said one thing. It's based off, like they always say, it's different experience each time. Okay, that makes sense, because that makes sense of why SBMM is involved. Because if you go and play in Vondel, right, you're absolutely right. Guess what? In Vondel, sometimes it's raining, sometimes it's foggy, sometimes it's clear. It's not always the case. And I believe to one degree or another, there is dynamic weather, specifically in Ashika Island and Vondel. Not all the time, but there is. And I think it's based off player progression and how you play. Matter of fact, I would go as far as to question, because this is an important question. If you don't player hunt in the new DMZ, does that affect your interaction, or how frequently you will interact with other player hunters, or maybe other players who have a history, like in Arc Raiders, who have a history of being more aggressive or more neutral or passive? I'd like to know that. And that's another form of skill-based matchmaking. And the Infinity Ward did say that they're going to make a couple of changes. It's not going to be 1-for-1, but get what I did? 1-for-1? Anywho. And I figured, oh my gosh, all right, cool. So let me focus back here. I figured, all right, that door's already open. There's one of two things occurred. A player just passed through here, or an AI, or there was an AI that was attacking the player. So more than likely, I was like, all right, I got to get out of here. I'm not going to linger here. So I figured, all right, cool, I'm going to do that. But then I realized, okay, and here's the interesting part. Now, I don't know if I showed it or not. It might be a mismatch. Because I already, like, showed my location anyway the moment I was just driving everywhere and stuff like that. But when I was passing through, I think it's, like, roughly right here, there was an enemy operator that pleaded for help, and then, thank goodness, SBM was on my side, because it's somewhere along the line, like, that player, I think it was the IO skin, from the Black Cell Battle Pass from Modern Warfare 2. I think it's like when I turned right here, I played it up and then I turned right, so you'll see it shortly. A player pleaded for help, and then I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Let me go res him. Let me be a good Samaritan, since he already knows I'm there. That's why he pleaded for help. So I'm gonna go help him out. And then sure enough, I'm getting blasted by the IO skin. I know it's the IO skin because of the hoodie, and then just the brief moment that I saw, and it was a Black Cell skin because it turned black, like right here. See? And then I see him like right there, and I was like, "Yep, nope. I wish I could pick you up, but sorry, bro." And he tried to use a freaking drill charge. I would have died. Would have died. Like, I'm not an aggressive player. Like, most of the time, I would rather try to get all of my missions done, and then maybe I will be aggressive. Not all the time, but I would prefer to, progress through the whole series, get through the story, get the gear that I need, and then actually help other players. That's what I would prefer to do, because I've had a good experience with that in Delta Force, and I've also had a good experience that in general. Matter of fact, this is one of those experiences. So I figured, okay, I got myself a skeleton key. I'm mission focused. I'm going to go ahead and focus on making sure I don't bother anybody. I'm just going to do my own thing. I'm going to, stay in my own lane. And I figured because of where the what is it called? The weapon stash is, it's likely that most people would not offhand, right out of the rip, have a control tower key. So I figured, okay, wait a minute. What is the likelihood that someone has a control tower key? And why hasn't anyone been there yet? So I figured, okay, the odds are in my favor at the moment. And then on top of that, I have a skeleton key. I have one more use to use it. You can use the skeleton key up to 3 times, depending on which version you have it. I think if it's a Warren, you have 2 times. But I've been holding on to this skeleton key, mind you, for over 2 years. Like, I normally do not use skeleton keys. And mind you, it's not for any specific reason. It's because they are, valued. So I want to make sure I use them sparingly. So I figured, okay, here's what I can do. I can get into the control tower, and I've never actually got the intel for the pyro, and I never had the opportunity to kill off the pyro. So I figured, oh, okay, easy threat so, to eliminate. So that should be no problem. Give me a second here. I'm on a diet, so I'm trying to not, drink a whole lot of dairy, and I'm using sugar-free vanilla creamer. So it's just regular, McCafe coffee with vanilla syrup. So no sugar added, just all that. Probably riddled with aspartame. Anyway, I digress. So I'm already struggling as it is at the moment, and I figured, you know what? This is what I'd like to see. If I can see the return of a lot of these OG bosses, and I'm saying I'm separating the DMZ beta to the new DMZ. But it would be cool to see the return of them, so you could actually regain some of your, the loot that you would have had in Modern Warfare 2 DMZ. Because right now, there's no carry forward, at least that I'm aware of. I think it's been confirmed. There's no carry forward. So if we could, it would be nice to be able to be rewarded some of our OG content that we would have spent a lot of time for a lot of people. Like, we would be granted some of our OG stuff. And even in the trailer in, DMZ, it actually showed one of the Modern Warfare 2 skins. It was the operator skin with the deer mask on, and we've actually seen that before in Modern Warfare 2. So it makes me wonder that a lot of the content that we already had in Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 may be returning in some capacity, just not in the form of carried forward, right? So, and we already saw the Hurricane. So I figured, okay, there may be a way to, instead of doing carry forward, to cause bloat, right? there might be a better way to go about it. Maybe a lot of our guns that we're used to from Modern Warfare 2, Modern Warfare 3 may return, but it'll just be in the capacity of seasonal content like aftermarket parts, Apex attachments, and things like that. So I welcome that. I welcome that. I would love to see the Storm Render return and its aftermarket part, which would be awesome. So either way, I'm already pretty much figuring like, all right, it's not likely, you know, another player is gonna bombard me. Like they're gonna wait. Like the average player, a smart player, is gonna wait for someone smart enough, skilled enough, and resourceful enough to open up the control tower at the airport, right? And then on top of that, they're gonna kill the pyro. And then in my mind, as a more so of a player hunter mindset, I'll wait for someone else to do it. And then what I'll do is I'll take their loot and then exfil. That would be a smart thing to do. And it's interesting because one of the things that I want to tell people is that at the end of the day, the way that the content is drawn out, and I have some notes here, is that you should never feel discouraged if you're going to play DMZ. I don't think there's ever a reason why someone should be like, you know what, oh my gosh, there's player hunters, oh, it's, you know, this is BS, you know, we shouldn't play and things like that. No, keep playing. Because one of the things that I have realized is that you can't not stop playing. You know, and I've seen a lot, you know, of course, I've seen a lot of content creators, and to me, it's like, it's really sad because, you know, again, we didn't really see any gameplay of the DMZ rebuild, right? But, you know, there's a lot of people saying that, again, you know, we don't know the mode, or, you know, it's just, some of these content creators are not solely, or predominantly, primarily DMZ players. So, or even content creators. So when I think of it, I play all Call of Duties, and like you can see, go back to my past videos. I'll play DMZ, I'll play multiplayer, I'll go back to Modern Warfare 2, I'll go back to Modern Warfare 3. I'll play everything. I just haven't been able to find a squad to play raids, unfortunately. Paquito, Jaws, Vision, okay, called them out. But that I digress. But again, I feel like for the most part, most of the DMZ content creators that I can think of is Andy and Lucci, but. Our Lego is another one. So it's like those are the guys that I look towards as far as for getting ideas of content, and then on top of that, you know, how to go about getting the Serpentine skin, for example, and you know, the rigmarole. There's a lot of low-end content creators who most people don't even know their name, and it's like they're not getting the credit where credit's due, because those are the guys that should have been invited to see like DMZ. Those are the guys that should be playing early because they've invested the time. For the likes of like Nero Cinema, or you know, Exclusive Ace, or Ink Slasher, or the One Boom, like I don't think that those are the kind of content creators you want to be hearing from as it pertains to DMZ. It's great that they have early access, and it's great they have their own takes, but they're not DMZ content creators. And I think, if I may say, like, don't bring Warzone players and streamers to critique DMZ. If you're going to bring content creators to give you the most beneficial critique and feedback, bring in the predominantly DMZ players who have made their channel maybe solely around DMZ, or casuals, because I think people like that are more likely to give you more criticism. And what I'd like to see is not necessarily randomness, but less overpowered AI, unless it is predominantly like where I'm going for, you know, the pyro. And I think it strikes a good balance, because the fact that I was able to simply take down the pyro on my own says that whatever balance that they struck here is perfect. Not only is it perfect for a squad, and I think in general, because I think this is where SBMM, and this is where I will say SBMM comes in handy. If majority of the lobby is predominantly all three-man squads, I think the difficulty in AI should scale up. And I think for the most part, the RNG and SBMM scaled along with myself. I think for the most part, more than not, the reason why I was so successful in this is because I may have been the only, and I mean this truthfully, I may have been the only solo player in this lobby. Not only that, my previous 2 games out of the day today were all going through the control tower, doing the same contract, right, and scavenging for a simple 3-plate vest. I think with that mindset in the same actions, right, somewhere along the matchmaking, it understood what my intention was. More times than not, I spawned 2 out of the 3. I spawned close to the airport control tower, right? So therefore, I think it scaled along with my intentions. And again, I want to be fully transparent. Again, I don't hate, generally Call of Duty in a nutshell. I just don't like a lot of the decisions in the past that they have made. And again, the moment that some of these players tend to fall off, and DMZ, I will say people have the sentiment that DMZ was for players who couldn't make it in Warzone in the past, right? And they're all the same people who are going to hop on in Warzone now, or failures of Warzone. I don't think that's the case. I might say that because people may have never stuck with the mindset of DMZ, and people never really stuck with it, actively, specifically. Because you ever notice that the moment you step away from DMZ, it becomes more difficult to bounce back in DMZ because you are a little bit behind. So now you're a player who wants to be mission focused, and now you're probably about 5, 6, 7, 10 levels behind from someone who's already completed the whole story, has everything, and you're wondering why they're going about their day to player kill. Well, it's because there's nothing else to do. There's no other incentive, possibly. So I think there strikes a chord with this. And if it's, the new DMZ is ever evolving, then I think, this will present something more. And I think there is a stopping point. There is a tip of the iceberg that will happen in this new coming DMZ. And, again, just to reiterate, the one thing I just want to point out and strike home is that the moment you stop playing DMZ, you're already at a disadvantage because things will change. The culture of the game will change. When the game first started, people weren't really always player hunting. Now, more than not, they are. You know what I mean? And it only took about a couple seasons, a couple months, and I know each game is different. This is just the nature of DMZ, because something like this, you won't always run into the situation of being left behind. Sometimes you will. And you have to keep that in mind. And considering that it's an ever-evolving world as far as, the story, the campaign, and things like that, if you're not proactively looking to get the best loot from the get-go or from the jump from release, then you're already at a disadvantage. That's why, for me, as much as I enjoyed multiplayer, I know that upon release, if I don't hop into DMZ, I'm already at a disadvantage by default. And if I try to level up all my guns in multiplayer, that doesn't mean anything to DMZ. Because there's no cross progression between DMZ and multiplayer in the new coming DMZ. And again, like anyone who's been playing the DMZ these past couple of years, like myself, understands that, when you again, like anyone who's been currently playing DMZ these past couple of years, like myself, understands what to expect this coming of DMZ, because we're already in the mindset of player hunters and being mission focused, because that's what we're able to do. We're able to adapt to these specific scenarios. So, not only that, being on the bounty board, which doesn't really exist in this current DMZ, may be beneficial, similar to, going rogue in the Division. There's always an incentive for being on the bounty board. There might be a reward. You might get XP. We don't know. These are questions that do need to be asked, or we won't find out until later down the line. This makes it more achievable because now we have operator slots and we can prioritize what operators is utilized for what. So for example, as you saw, I used the price operator who, one, had a free self-res. Now you realize that helped me tremendously this time, or the third time around, but wasn't really helpful the first time because I chose an operator skin that did not have a free self-res. And again, this is something that seriously, and I want to drive it home. I know I've been, beating a dead horse, like a broken record, that this is something that the devs need to address. Are there going to be bundles in the future where, again, and I hate to say it, where content creators were putting this sentiment in people's minds? Oh, well, it's pay to win because they get a free UAV or they get a free 2-plate armor, yada, yada, yada. Not the case, okay? Let people play how they want. And if they want to spend their money on something like that, let them. It's fine. So I finally killed the boss, got a temper plate, yeah, got the pyro intel, and I was like, you know what? That's brilliant. That's brilliant. But again, the players that are mission focused typically going to have more than likely a better loot. And keep this in mind for those who are just now coming into DMZ. There are already players who exist who already have everything. So be mindful when you're focusing on your missions, trying to unlock content, get a feel of the DMZ, because it might be very similar. this current DMZ might be very similar to the new DMZ in feel, but the aggressiveness of the AI is yet to be seen. Okay, we don't know. We know that there's a tier system, but we already know there's a tier system, or not a star system, but a star system, air quotes here, in the current DMZ, which is based off of threat level, and now we're getting a star system in the new one, which is nothing more as shot in the dark of a threat level. Again, one and the same, because notice how the devs did not mention that there's ever threat levels. So it could be one and the same. We could have threat levels and star systems, but I would think that they work hand in hand. And I'm pretty sure there might be a mission that says exfil while having a 5-star wanted level, like in GTA. Anywho, let me stop. But again, you know, you want to avoid these kind of scenarios, and you want to make sure that, you know, you're fully prepared. And again, the same culture currently in DMZ will in fact transfer over to the next DMZ in some capacity. There will be in fact maybe dickish players who will player hunt, who will take advantage of the players who are mission focused because they are likely to have a lot of the better loot anyway. So of course it's going to happen. Just don't be discouraged at the end of the day. And you know, of course, having more streamers and content creators put on the spotlight on this mode will make it all the more potentially chaotic, mind you. There's going to be a lot of content creators, low-end, high-end known streamers and things like that who are going to hype this stuff up, like hype this new mode up. And at the end of the day, you're going to wonder, well, how come they weren't doing that back then? They were more focused on Warzone than they were DMZ, right? I'm just pointing it out. You're going to have people like Swag who are saying, oh, yeah, I love DMZ, blah, 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 blah. Or you'll have Exclusive Ace who's like, oh, yeah, well, I like DMZ, and then make content on DMZ. But yet you... What? I'm sorry. Weren't you the one who traded freaking Battlefield 6 over as your main content, even though you were thriving on your own for Call of Duty? I'm sorry. What? No, get out of here, buddy. You have not made a whole lot of DMZ content, and stop it. That goes for anybody, right? So, I just wanted to bring that to light because, again, it will be chaotic, and eventually it'll taper off because eventually people will either go to Warzone, continuing to play, or DMZ. But interesting enough, DMZ is still, the DMZ 1 will still be free. Warzone will still be free on current consoles, right? Current gen consoles, not old consoles. But we'll still have a player pool. We might see a decrease in players because of Warzone. And guess what? Someone is sniping me on top of that tower. And I was like, nope, I'm out of here. Like, I already know. And interestingly enough, it's like just, you have to play it smart. And I realized, oh my gosh, yeah, I am a target because I got a freaking weapons case. Once upon a blue moon, I had all the weapons cases, but again, got falsely banned. And then the devs unbanned me, and I got sniped. And I was like, "Ooh, I'm dead. I can't self-res." But then I realized the tower. And in back of my mind, I'm thinking to myself, "Okay, these guys are probably parachuting down wherever they're at. I'm gonna make a beeline, and you know what? I'm gonna leave it at that. DMZ is a good experience in my opinion. So, in the meantime, feel free to leave a like. I've talked enough. Listen to the live comms. And I'll leave it at that. Remember always, ladies and gents, have a good one, and peace be with you. Yeah.
Visual on an X-ray. X-ray marked.
Ultra One, copy that. Requesting medical for you now.
License on the back of the AO.
The heavy chopper.
There you go.
And then I have to go to the exfil, man.
Get to extraction fast.
I know. Hey, look,
Jeez.
you can't walk around with that. You can't walk around with that weapons case and not get fucking clapped the fuck out.
I know. I had one skeleton key use, man. And I was like, I'm about to get this weapon case.
Ultra One, enemy threat.
We're gonna get out with it, man. I'm like,
Oh, man.
he's probably doing missions. He's a solo.
Yeah, I was pretty much trying to do solo, man. Sure.
Take your money back.
All right.
Dead drop will fast track your weapon recovery.
You need plates?
Yeah, I'm completely tapped out here. You need a res? Because I have like 3 reses right now. I have two of them right here.
No, I got a res and I got a pistol also. So.
All right. Then. Let's see. Okay. Thank you. I appreciate the res.
Squad ping. Wait. Squad ping, buddy.
Yeah.
Suggest you stick together.
Alright, I'm up here. Yeah, what's this? I don't know what that is.
UAV is on station.
Hey, right there. Right there.
Ultra One, we're seeing.
Well, I pinged it in the hospital. Tucker or Gate
Behind me.
right there near you. Yeah.
Yep.
Ultra One, extraction this time.
I got
Guys
fast
on this guy?
exfil coming in for you.
Yep.
I think it took off.
We're racing radiation. It's gonna be close.
I think he's there still somewhere, guys. He's hiding out. Right there. Hey.
I see it.
Set him.
Alright.
Put back.
Ultra One, actual.
Headed to the extraction. But I appreciate it, guys. Much appreciated, man.
Point.
Yep.
Always, man.